You were taught to be good. Be kind, be honest, be patient. Wait your turn and the world will reward you. Look around. How is that working out? The good men you know are tired, walked on, passed over, replaced by men who lied better, moved faster, and never once apologized for wanting more. You played fair in a game where fair was never the rule. And somewhere along the way, being good started to feel like being weak. I am not here to comfort you today. I am here to rebuild you. Welcome to ZestifyUp. We are here to amplify your potential. If you're new here, understand what this channel is really about. This isn't motivation. It isn't feel-good noise. This is a place where broken men and women come to rebuild themselves through truth, especially when that truth cuts deep. Stay until the end, because Lesson 7 alone could change the way you think, act, and move through the rest of your life. 500 years ago, a man named Niccolo Machiavelli watched his entire world collapse, watched kindness lose to cruelty over and over in real time. He did not turn away from that. He studied it. He wrote it down, and the world has called him evil ever since because he refused to lie about how power actually works. Today, you get his real inheritance, not the villain, the strategist. 7 lessons, pulled from his life and his mind, built for one purpose, turning broken men into unstoppable kings. This will not feel good in all the right ways. It is supposed to cut. Let it. Lesson 1. The death of the good boy. There is a version of you that needs to die today. The good boy. The one who still believes that being nice is the same thing as being respected. Machiavelli watched men of real virtue get crushed by men of real ambition, again and again, in a city that rewarded whoever moved first. He came to a brutal conclusion. Goodness without strength is not virtue. It is bait. Here is the fear. If you keep performing kindness for people who only respect power, you will spend your whole life being used and call it being a good person. Here is the hope. The moment you stop needing to be liked by everyone, you become impossible to manipulate. That is not cruelty. That is the first breath of a free man. This does not mean become heartless. It means stop confusing softness with safety. Save your goodness for people who have earned it. Stop handing it to everyone just to avoid being disliked. The good boy dies here. What comes next does not apologize for taking up space. Lesson 2 will show you exactly why that scares people and why that fear is your new advantage. Lesson 2. Feared is safer than loved if you can't be both. Machiavelli wrote something that still makes people uncomfortable. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Love is fragile. It breaks the second it becomes inconvenient for someone else. Respect, the kind built on boundaries, does not break that easily. But Machiavelli added one condition most men forget. Never let that fear curdle into hatred. Fear creates distance. Hatred creates enemies, and enemies do not forget. They wait in the dark for the day you slip. Think about the people in your life who walk over you. Be honest. Are they afraid of losing you, or are they certain you will stay no matter what they do? That certainty is the trap. The moment people know you will tolerate anything, they stop trying to earn your loyalty at all. This is the fear. The nicer you are without boundaries, the easier you are to disrespect, and you will not even see it happening, because it will be wrapped in friendliness. This is the hope. A man who is calm, consistent, and clearly willing to walk away earns something love alone never gives you. Caution. People choose their words more carefully around a man they cannot predict and cannot control, and respect him instead of resenting him for it. You do not need to be cruel to be respected. You need to stop being so easy to read, so easy to push, so easy to keep around no matter how you are treated. Draw the line clearly enough that no one mistakes your patience for permission. Once people know there is a limit, they finally start respecting the man, not just the role he plays for them. Lesson 3 is about what happens after that limit is set. when the whole world starts watching how you carry yourself instead of what you say. Lesson 3. Reputation rules before character. Machiavelli understood something most men never accept. The world rarely waits to discover who you really are. It reacts first to who you appear to be. That sentence will offend the part of you that wants to believe character alone is enough. It matters. But character takes time to prove, and most rooms do not give you time. A man who is brilliant but looks lost gets ignored. A man who is uncertain but carries himself with composure gets trusted, sometimes before he has earned it. This is the fear. If you walk into every room broadcasting your doubt, your exhaustion, your insecurity, the world will treat you exactly the way you are advertising yourself. People do not see your potential first. They see your posture. This is the hope. You get to choose what you broadcast, while your character quietly catches up behind it. Composure can be built before confidence fully arrives. Stand like a man who is not afraid, long enough, and the fear actually starts to quiet down, because your body stops sending it constant signals to panic. This is not about becoming fake. It is about understanding that reputation opens the door, and character is what keeps you inside the room once you are there. Neglect either one and the other cannot save you alone. A king does not explain himself to every room. He enters it already decided and lets his actions prove the rest over time. Lesson 4 is about protecting what is underneath that composure, because the moment you expose it carelessly, it can be used against you. Lesson 4. Never show your whole hand. Machiavelli watched rulers fall not because they were weak, but because they revealed too much, too soon, to people who were never loyal to begin with. You have done this. We all have. Poured your whole plan, your whole wound, your whole ambition out to someone who was never going to protect it. And later, that same information became a weapon used against you in the exact moment you were most vulnerable. This is the fear. Oversharing feels like connection, but to the wrong person, it is just evidence they collect quietly, waiting for the day it benefits them to use it. This is the hope. Selective silence is not coldness. It is wisdom. The fewer people who know your full strategy, your full pain, your full plan, the fewer people who can sabotage it, intentionally or not. Speak in outcomes, not in process. Let people see what you have built after it is already standing, not while it is still fragile and half-finished. A king does not announce the war before he has already won the first battle in silence. Guard what matters most. Not out of fear of people, but out of respect for what you are building. Lesson 5 is about what happens when life refuses to cooperate with even your best guarded plans. Lesson 5. Move before fortune does. Machiavelli compared fortune to a flooding river. In calm seasons, wise men build levees and walls long before the water ever threatens them. Fools wait until the river is already at their door, and by then, it is too late to do anything but drown or run. You did not choose the family that broke you. You did not choose the year everything fell apart at once. That part was fortune, cruel and indifferent, exactly like the river. This is the fear. Most men wait for the storm to pass before they move again. They freeze, hoping stability returns on its own. It rarely does. Waiting only gives the river more time to rise. This is the hope. The men who survive chaos are not the ones who avoid it. They are the ones who already built their walls, who act inside the storm, fast, imperfect, but moving, while everyone else is still waiting for permission from a world that owes them nothing. Fortune respects the man who prepared more than the man who only prays. Build your defenses now. Move while it is still uncomfortable. That discomfort is the price of staying ahead of what is coming. Lesson 6 is about what to do once you finally face the thing, or the person, that has been working against you the entire time. Lesson 6. Half measures create new chains. Machiavelli gave a brutal warning. A wound, if you choose to give one, should be given fully, not gradually, because a wound that is only half dealt with does not heal. It festers, and it waits for the chance to strike back harder. Think about every situation in your life that you only half ended. The relationship you did not fully walk away from. The toxic job you stayed at out of guilt. The argument you swept under the rug instead of finishing. This is the fear. Half measures do not protect you. They prolong the damage and give whatever is working against you, a person, a habit, a fear, time to recover and come back for round two, when you are even more tired than before. This is the hope. Full, decisive endings hurt once, and then they heal. Half endings hurt slowly, for years, in a way you eventually stop noticing, because you got used to the pain. You start calling exhaustion normal. A king does not leave a threat standing out of guilt. He ends what needs to end completely, so peace can actually begin. Mercy without finality is not kindness. It is a chain you keep forging link by link, year after year. What in your life have you only half ended? Sit with that question, because Lesson 7 is about who you let close enough to matter once everything else has finally been cut away. Lesson 7. Loyalty you build beats. Loyalty you are owed. This is the lesson that changes everything else you just heard. Machiavelli distrusted borrowed loyalty above almost everything else. He warned that mercenaries fight only for pay and abandon you the moment the pay stops. Allies fight only for their own interest and switch sides the moment interest shifts. But citizens, the ones who believe the kingdom is actually theirs, those are the ones who stay when everything else falls apart. You cannot demand respect because you deserve it. You cannot demand loyalty because you were once kind to someone. Loyalty owed is loyalty that disappears the second it becomes inconvenient. This is the fear. If your entire foundation is built on people who only stay out of obligation or out of what they can get, you do not actually have a kingdom. You have a countdown. This is the hope. A king who builds his own loyalty, person by person, choice by choice, who gives people a real stake in what he is building instead of just a reason to stick around, never has to wonder who will still be standing beside him when fortune finally turns against him. That loyalty was tested. It was not assumed.
Stop waiting to be owed respect. Start earning trust deliberately with people who have proven they deserve your investment, and start giving the people closest to you something real to believe in. That is the real throne, not a title, not a bloodline, a circle that chose you again and again on purpose.
Machiavelli never actually hated goodness. He hated goodness that could not defend itself. He did not ask men to become monsters. He asked them to become men capable of protecting what mattered. Goodness without strength is not virtue. It is bait. Goodness with strength behind it is something else entirely. It is a kingdom worth defending. If you came into this video broken, tired, maybe doubting whether the good in you was actually a weakness, it was never the good in you that was the problem. It was the version of you that handed it out to anyone, with no boundaries, no discernment, no protection. The good boy is gone now. He died the moment he stopped begging for permission to exist. What remains is not a tyrant, not a manipulator, not a man hungry for revenge. Just a man who finally understands that kindness without boundaries becomes sacrifice, that trust without discernment becomes self-betrayal, and that a kingdom built deliberately can survive storms that destroy everyone still waiting to be rescued. 500 years after Machiavelli wrote his warnings, they are still not instructions for becoming feared for its own sake. They are instructions for becoming difficult to conquer. If even one of these 7 lessons cut deep, tell me which one in the comments. I will read every single one, and if this rebuilt something in you tonight, you already know what to do. Subscribe to ZestifyUp because the next chapter of the King's Code is coming, and it goes even deeper than this.